Yeah, okay, so I have a question. What's for Dinar?
Gavel of the First Arbiter for me. What about you?
I think that I'm looking to buy an Antumbra.
Ah, I see.
Yeah. What are you guys having for Dinar? Anyways, okay, so basically what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about like the Dinar system, maybe like the future of deterministic loot, the Great Vault, and then some of the pros and cons of like how the system functions and how it can affect just PvE loot in general. So not just raid focused, but how it also has affected Mythic Plus gearing and potentially even alts. So basically, I guess let's kind of outline what the Dinar system is. Do you want to kind of outline that real quick? I have this guide here.
Yeah, kill bosses, any difficulty, get Dinars 3 times per season. Over this season, you can get your Dinars into whatever item you want. Normal raid difficulty,
Yes.
Loot at the end. You can get the Dinars from any difficulty in the raid, and it's a different system than the upgrade tokens. And of course, everybody already knows now how this functions with the 30, 15, 5 pacing on the Dinars. And then the 20 per upgrade token from Heroic or Mythic. So interesting pacing. At this point in the patch, anybody who's been raiding every single week has gotten all 3 of their Dinars now. And we'll never see another Dinar ever again.
Yeah. In addition to that, Wowhead also has some great articles on like what you should be looking to buy for your class specifically or like your spec specifically. Okay, what are we going to be talking about today, though, is not exactly how the system functions, but let's talk about just deterministic loot. So this system in particular was added as a way of allowing players to acquire loot off of the back of some criticisms off of like the Great Vault, right? And people were saying, okay, I'm killing whatever boss. Okay, so I'm killing Sanctum of Domination. I've done this raid instance 20 times. I still don't have an Old Warrior Soul. I still don't have a Jathus. I still don't have a Edge of Night or whatever. And
Gavel of the First Arbiter.
Yeah,
I didn't get one of those all of season 3.
Exactly, from Sanctum of Domination, no Gavel of the First Arbiters or
Right.
anything like that. And so this system was added as a way for you to be able to manually acquire the pieces of loot with these Dinars. This is great. I think that uniformly being able to target and acquire just this high value raid loot is very solid. Does this mean that there are not any issues with the system? I would argue no. There are still some issues with the system in general. Talking specifically about alts and talking specifically about players who aren't raiding or killing every single boss on a given raid difficulty. Or in addition to that, like say you want just the highest item level of gear, like Mythic level quality gear, and you're not like, say you're only doing 2 or 3 bosses of Mythic, how are you supposed to get enough upgrade tokens? So it's less about the Dinar system, but more about like the system as a whole with like upgrade tokens and the Dinars.
Yeah, I would say the Mythic upgrade tokens in particular has been pretty punishing to be a bench player. If you're in for like 70% of bosses, feels really bad to be, a week behind on your Mythic upgrade token or 2 weeks now behind on your Mythic upgrades compared to people that are in for every boss. And It does create some tension where you want to be in for bosses, but it's not because you like the boss fight or because it drops a good item for you. It's literally just because you want 1/20th of a Mythic upgrade token. So that has been a tough tension. I like in my guild as well. We've had more people that have wanted in than have actually than 20 on some bosses, which is a weird thing in farm, and it's led to obviously somebody ends up being unhappy at the end of the day there. Which at the end of the day, people live with it. It's just season 4. People are. But if this were to be carried forward into a real season, this would have some serious incentives to shrink rosters down. Because you, rather than splitting your 20 times 20 or your 20 Mythic tokens per boss among 25 players, it would be more efficient to split it among 20 players, right? You'd be getting more on average per player per boss. So that particular incentive has been a little bit weird, and I am a little worried for how it would look in a real season.
It's also really hard, read as impossible, to get these upgrade tokens and, less for Dinars because you can QLFR, but to get these upgrade tokens on like an alt character that you want to have a relevant level of gear without doing just a full different raid of equal difficulty, it is impossible to get enough of these upgrade tokens to be able to upgrade gear. On top of that, you're kind of hoping that you high roll some of these like base pieces of loot as well. So like just like pants or chest or stuff like that, this non-high value pieces of loot as well that you can't purchase from the purchase with dinars. You're actually kind of hoping that you don't hit these high value pieces and you just buy those with dinars, and then you hope that you hit the base pieces, and that way you can upgrade those. That's also kind of a function of how the 311 loot works right now. So basically KT and Sylvanas, Stone Legion Generals, Insider Denathrius, and then Lords of Dread, Rygalon, and Jailer all have loot that you can upgrade to 311. If you're using Mythic upgrade tokens on it. So that is partially due to that way. But in addition to that, it's like a weird system where you're kind of hoping to not hit the good gear because you'd rather just use a dinar on it.
Yeah, there's definitely some interesting tension there as well. And it does kind of widen the gap between the Mythic Plus gearers and the Raid gearers now that we can have 311s in every slot rather than just in a few slots, which was kind of the standard when we just had one raid at a time. I think in the rotation.
I think let's circle back to that in a second. The positives of this system, though, are the fact that you're able to actually target this gear. And so, do you have your gavel now?
Yes.
I have my Antumbra, right? Like, you have your gavel, I have my Antumbra. These are like really nice things to have. Like, we have this high quality loot that we wanted. I have my Bis trinkets. You probably also have your Bis trinkets, if I had to guess.
Not as much, no, but I've been playing multiple characters, so I, deserve it.
Technically, you could have bought them at this point.
Yeah,
right?
if I'd been sticking on one character instead of doing some rat activity, yeah.
Yeah, okay, but like you absolutely could have all three of these pieces or whatever that are listed.
Yes,
from this. This is the upside of this. Is like there is some level of deterministic loot. The downside, though, is say you're trying to play multiple specs of a different class. Then you start to run into problems where you're like, okay, there's only 3 of these dinars. I don't know what to prioritize. How do you think they should fix this moving forward? Because this feels like a good step in the right direction, in my opinion. Because like I don't want this to come out like super negatively, like we're bashing the dinar system. I think it's a step in the right direction from nothing, but I think it needs to move like 2 more steps forward to be in like a perfect or like really good system.
Yeah, I mean, I do question how dinars would look in a season that was normal as well, because a lot of stuff was different this season, right?
Okay.
We didn't have capped valor. We didn't have the week 1 Mythic Plus lower eye level thing.
Okay.
And similarly, we've got dinars giving us whatever item we want 3 weeks into the tier. My guess is that those 3 things all will not be true in a regular season, right? Like in a season that's not just sort of this recycled content thing, which I loved season 4, but it does have like a little bit of a make-believe season feel to the gearing in it, where they kind of have let the restrictions go because there's not a race to world first and that kind of stuff going on, and there's not like a
new raid,
serious progression race and a Hall of Fame thing or anything like that. Like It's people doing content they've already done. So when that stops being true, I suspect they'll get a little bit more stingy with the dinars. The way that I think they probably should do this is just push the dinars back a few weeks around to what like pull the creation catalyst system, keep that system, pull it forward a couple weeks, push the dinars back to when the creation catalyst opens, and then have both of those systems open then. And probably, I think the dinar restriction of only getting 3 per season is not necessary. I think you could, once dinars open up and once, if we continue rating every single week, just let us buy however many items we want. Like, what is the abuse here? What's the abuse for somebody who, like, what is the worst case for somebody using their 4th dinar for advantage, right? Like, the options are, if you're a 1 spec character, you literally don't have anything good to use it on anyways, right? You've got 1 weapon and you've got 2 trinkets and you're set. But if you are a multi-spec character or a character that wants different trinkets for different situations, I don't see a reason to like penalize that playstyle. So I think we should be able to keep farming dinars after the 3rd.
For me, the big thing about the system is like you should be able to get like 80% of the upgrade tokens with 30% of the raid bosses or something like that.
Yes.
So that allows you to play multiple characters, or say you're a DPS player or somebody who ends up like sitting on half the bosses, like most DPS and like progression guilds do. If you're like progressing Mythic and you have like a static amount, of course. Like if you're in like a heroic guild, there's like flex rating. But like, so say you're in a Mythic guild, you end up sitting on half the bosses just due to whatever. I think it would make sense that you are able to come in for like 3 out of 10 bosses and get most of your Mythic upgrade tokens, or even 100% of your Mythic upgrade tokens for that week that you would need to have. In addition to that, that would also kind of help alts as well. So you could actually like cycle those characters in, or you could like pug a raid and not have to do all of the bosses, that kind of thing. I do think that there's like there is like some real friction with alts and just the Dinar Mythic upgrade token system. I think a part of it's like the fact that it's two separate currencies as well. The Dinars and the upgrade tokens are two completely separate currencies is part of it, though.
Yeah, I don't mind the fact that like an alt just doesn't get a free Mythic gavel, like unless you're rating Mythic on the character a lot.
Okay.
To me, that's less of a like thing that needs to happen. I mean, it would be nice for Mythic Plus alts to be able to get, Mythic whatever item, but like you could just do heroic raid each week and get a heroic gavel on your alt, and then like if you want Mythic raid loot, do Mythic raid on it. But I do think increasing the reward, like increasing the amount of Mythic upgrade tokens you got from your first few Mythic kills each week, I think I would be down for that. Like if you think about the way the Great Vault works, right? The Great Vault, there's higher rewards for your first 2 Mythic bosses than like your next 3, and then your next 3 after that, and then the ones after that don't even help your Great Vault at all. And I think that kind of reward profile is better than the sort of linear 1 token per 1 boss thing that we have with the Mythic upgrade tokens right now.
How have you okay, so let's actually talk about Mythic Plus. How do you feel like this affects Mythic Plus only players? Do you think this is too punishing because it rewards like too much loot to just raiders?
Yeah, so the gap between like a Mythic rating character and a Mythic Plus character this time, it's probably bigger than an average patch, although it's always, that complaint exists every patch. This season, tertiaries are easier to farm at M Plus than ever, so
yeah, that's true.
In one way, that's less true than usual. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think that like if you are a Mythic Plus main, there being an incentive to like find a group to do heroic with every week. Then if you do heroic every week, you're literally in the same spot as a Mythic raider, except with heroic trinkets and heroic gavel or whatever instead of Mythic. I feel like that's like if it weren't for the whole 311 spam thing, I think I'd be fine. The fact that the average eye level of the Mythic raider is now 7 above instead of 4 above or 3 above an M pluser is something that I don't like. Okay. But that's not because of the Dinar system. That's because there's 3 raids in rotation.
Do you think you should be able to target max eye level Mythic Plus loot similar to how? Okay, so you can get. We're just using right now. If you Valor upgrades something all the way up as high as it can go, it'll be 298. However, if you loot it from the Great Vault, it'll be 304. Do you think that you should be able to purchase loot at like 304 item level? Because like that's something that I think a lot of this stuff should actually correspond with how the Great Vault functions. I don't think it should be like 6 different currencies and stuff like that. I think the Great Vault should kind of be changed to also have some deterministic loot aspect of it. Maybe like the tokens from the vault, instead of it being something in regards to sockets, it could be in regards to like acquiring specific loot or trophies or whatever. I really think that there should be some way to target and upgrade Mythic Plus loot all the way up to like 304 item level or max level. Not necessarily like the 311 from the final bosses of raid tiers, but the normal Mythic item level, aside from just having to high roll it out of your vault.
Yeah, I think I'd be down for what I'd like to see them try is like that whatever time they put Dinars and the Catalyst in, I think that would be a good time to be like, all right, and Valor upgrades now go up to 304.
Okay,
like
that makes sense.
That same time, I think would be, because again, they want to be careful about like early season loot. So putting some like breaks in there, and then I think having like a month and a half into the patch and now the gear is easier to get. I think like that should extend to M Plus as well as raid.
You've alluded to it a couple times. I'm in the same boat. Creation Catalyst absolutely should stay, right? I'm like on board with Creation Catalyst staying. The
Catalyst owns that thing is the only reason I'm playing more than one character this patch and last patch.
How do you feel about the charge system for the Catalyst after having seen it play out?
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, the charges were mostly made up. I don't know. They were fine for the first few weeks, sure. And now it's weird that it says, "Oh, you have 48 charges." Like, I don't know, just give me unlimited charges. But whatever. I don't care. I haven't been bothered by the charges on it.
Would you care? Okay, like in a future season, would you be fine if it also just had unlimited charges?
I mean, I think it's fine that for the first few weeks, it's like it sort of soft launches, so it still was good to have hunted down your tier, and that's still. Like if you were at 3-piece, it's like, now I'm at 4-piece instead of like going from 0 to 4 on the day that it comes out. So
okay,
I'm fine with that part of it. But I wouldn't complain if they removed it.
I hope that they don't force you to spend a jillion Cosmic Flux on Creation Catalyst or whatever like the Cosmic Flux equivalent would be. That would be actually one of the only things I would change about the Creation Catalyst is like The Cosmic Flux cost was pretty high, especially like like if you're trying to play like 4 or 5 characters and you're not doing like a ton of clears on them, you're gonna run out of flux pretty fast, and that was something that I noticed pretty early on. So maybe cutting down that a little bit, but in general, I love the Creation Catalyst. I think it's a great system. They should keep that. I also really hope they expand on the Dinar system, integrate it somewhat into the Vault. I think that the Vault was better than what we had in BFN Legion, but I do believe that there needs to be steps moving forward with how to expand the Vault and make it better as well, just with general loot acquisition.
Yeah, I think I'm glad to have seen the experimentation, though, and I think mostly this has gone really well, especially in this season.
Yeah.
I am curious to see what they are willing to take into a real season, for sure.
Okay, any final thoughts?
Dinars are cool. I like them a lot. I'm very glad to have a gavel. I had no gavel for all of Season 3. It's really fun to play with. So, yeah.
All right, cool. I think that's going to be it for us today. I hope you guys see you guys in the next video. Oh my god, I forgot to hit start recording.
Oh, I'm in so much pain right now.
Nah, I'm just trolling you.